Chapter 1. Cece. "Miss Price, isn't that your sister?" One of my students jumped up with excitement. I turned to the door of my classroom, and through the window I could see Mel's platinum hair strewn across her red face. Fear was written clear as day in her aqua eyes. "Oh no," I whispered under my breath. She opened the door before I could even reach it, and came stumbling in, toting Oliver right behind her. "We did a bad thing. You have to hide us," Mel exclaimed. "No, Mel did a bad thing. I was just there," Oliver added, adjusting the beanie that was slipping off his long maroon hair. I looked between the two of them, confused. Before I could form a question, Mel started frantically darting around the room, with all of the eyes of my kindergartners watching her. "What did you do?" I directed the question to Oliver sternly. "Again, I didn't do anything. It was your crazy sister," he defended. "She couldn't control her temper." "What?" I tried asking more sternly. "Happened?" "So, Mel was doing what Mel does behind the coffee shop. It was just good fun until Brittany Cassio came up and decided to bet against Mel. But of course Mel won, and Brittany called her a cheater, after which she demanded to know how she was cheating." He paused to inhale, and Mel joked about it being magic, and magicians never reveal their secrets. He pushed again to glare at Mel, who found my supply closet. "Then Miss Brittany said the most taboo thing anyone could ever say, according to your psycho sister, and said that she didn't deserve magic. To which your always psycho sister replied with a string of profanities that are not appropriate for your kindergartners to hear." "Mel," I ushered Oliver to the closet with Mel and pushed him in, "you need to learn to control your temper. I won't always be here to help you, and you need to be nicer to people." "I'm nice to people when they deserve it," she remarked. "Which, in your eyes, is never," Oliver whispered. Both were red-faced and nervously glancing at my classroom door. "You two just stay in this closet and think about what you've done," I hissed, "and Oliver, I expect more out of you. I know my sister does this crap, but I don't know why you follow her so religiously." Guilt swept over me as Oliver's eyes fell to the floor. Maybe I was too hard on him, but the truth was that he was a wonderful person. His only fault was the way he let Mel coerce him into troublemaking. "Aw, don't be too hard on him. He doesn't always use that brain of his. It almost seemed like Mel was standing up for him, like she used to when we were little, except she was still being mean." "Well, if you really cared for your friend, you wouldn't risk him getting in trouble." "I get him into these messes because I care. He needs to grow a backbone. Trust me on that," Mel said with an odd undertone in her voice. "Maybe you just need to be a little softer. Now get into the closet. I hear someone coming." I slammed the door in their faces and turned to meet my excited students. Last time Mel was here, she taught them magic. In reality, it was some sleight of hand gambling tricks, and I didn't realize until it was too late. "Will we get to do some more magic?" one young girl squealed. "Maybe after we play a game. The game is called No Words. The winner would get to play with Miss Mel. All you have to do is stay as quiet as possible and don't say anything until I say so." The children's eyes lit up and everyone nodded in agreement. "Okay, start now." And as if on cue, there was a knock at the door. Not to my surprise, Officer Logan, an old family friend, strolled in. He had worked under our father, the chief of police, for many years. "I'm sorry to bother you, Cecilia, but have you seen your sister Melissa? She's causing trouble again." "Oh no, what did she do this time?" I acted shocked. "Well, apparently she swindled and stole from Miss Cassio, and you know how that family is. So do you know where she could be hiding? I really need to get this over with." He sighed, exasperated. Officer Logan was very well associated with my sister. "She's probably off hiding in a closet somewhere thinking about what she's done," I said with a laugh. "I wish I could be of more help. If I see her, I'll call you straight away," I lied. "Thanks, Cece. I appreciate it." He backed out of the room and the bell rang for recess. "Great job, kids. You all win. Now go enjoy your recess." The kids all hollered in excitement as they rushed out the doors to the playground. Mel burst forth from the closet in rage. "Can you believe him? I did not steal anything from that woman. She played the game and lost fair and square. She just threw a fit and taunted me, but somehow I'm the one causing trouble." "Shh, Mel. You're being too loud. What if Logan is still nearby?" Oliver tried desperately to quell her temper. "Oh, I hope he is. I'll give him a piece of my mind." "Enough. I don't like lying to the police for you. Go home and don't do anything stupid." I shooed them from my room. I sat at my desk after they left, sighed heavily. Mel was always getting into some kind of trouble. I felt bad for Oliver. Bad that she was always dragging him with her. I could only help him so much. Both of them were my best friends. Oliver spent a lot of time with our family. He had become part of it and often shared his thoughts with me. Mel was obviously one of his closest friends, but he often regretted not being able to stop her from doing all these crazy things. Gambling behind the coffee shop they worked at, picking fights with people she considered rude. Even as a teenager, she would sneak out in the middle of the night and get into trouble with whoever her boyfriend was at the time. "Cecilia Price!" My classroom door slammed open and Brittany Cassio strode in. "Where is your vicious sister?" "Brittany, good to see you." I stood, smiling at her. She shook with anger, her black curls vibrating around her red face. Her odd eyes were locked on mine. I remember growing up, Brittany was only 2 years older than us. Her eyes were brown. Looking at them now, they looked like an unnatural bright green. Contacts, maybe? "Oh, shove it. Just tell me where Melissa is." "I don't know. Officer Logan came by and asked me a little while ago, but I haven't seen her." I was trying to be nice to the woman. She was obviously embarrassed, but she should have known better than to bet with Mel. The Cassio family was very prominent within our town and Coven. The family consisted of Lauren and Chad Cassio. They were the parents of Brittany and Vincent Cassio. Both children were put into a private school, and even during Coven meetings had never been allowed to socialize with any of us or any of the other kids. Vincent was the younger of the two kids and seemed nice but very quiet, although I hadn't seen him in years. He had a very interesting gift. He could turn into a shadow. Brittany had, unfortunately, been born without magic, which caused her parents a lot of shame. In my opinion, not having magic wasn't a bad thing, but to Lauren Cassio it was the end of the world. We lived in a small town in North Dakota called Kingsland. We were surrounded by other small towns, and all of the witches and warlocks in the area gathered to create the Silver Lake Coven, named after the large lake that housed a hidden cave for our meetings. "Next time I see her, I'll make her regret this." Brittany stomped out, slamming my classroom door. I could see that Brittany was the same as ever. Mel. I was rather upset with this whole situation. Once again, no one saw my side of the story. Clearly, that spoiled snob got what was coming to her. When you treat people badly, karma tends to run its course. I just gave it a nudge. "Can you believe this?" I asked aloud, breaking the silence between Oliver and myself. I looked at him as we walked together down the sidewalk. He looked upset as well, but his reasoning was different from mine. He was bummed over Cece lecturing him. I was certain of that. We were minding our own business, and she confronted us. Yet we are the ones getting the lecture. I continued on after a few moments of more awkward silence. "Mel, Cece's right, you know," Oliver finally said as he stopped walking, turning to face me with his hands in his pockets. I stopped along with him, shooting him a glare. "Depends on what you mean by that," I mumbled angrily, crossing my arms over my chest. "It means she has a point. We can't keep doing this. We can't keep causing her trouble, and you can't keep playing tricks on others," Oliver said. "I don't play tricks on just anyone, and besides that, you know I only go after the greedy in special cases," I defended. I hated when he did this. When he sided with Cece, it was hard to talk to him and make him understand. "Look, all I'm trying to say is it's going to backfire on us. Next time it might even be worse. You can't swindle everyone you come across, Mel," he told me. Those words sent me over the edge. Another lecture, and I was being challenged about my skill? "Want to bet?" I challenged bitterly. "No, Mel, I don't," he responded quickly, trying to calm the fire. "Too bad. I'll show you that I can trick anyone I please, and I'll show you right now." I shot back, turning away and looking around to find my new victim. We had made it downtown, and there were a few bars nearby. I turned to the nearest one and saw a man push the door open. He was handsome, tall, and thin, with shaggy dark hair and dark eyes. Plus, he was a little tipsy. Perfect. "Oh, God," I heard Oliver mumble from behind me. I was going to show everyone that this was a skill, and I wasn't just goofing around or conning people. Colt. "Hey, you!" I heard an angry female voice call to me. Oh, great, just what I needed. Another pissed-off woman. I turned, a little clumsy from the beers I had just enjoyed, and my eyes fell on the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. Natural platinum blonde hair that spiked around her chin, ivory skin, perfect lips, and icy blue eyes that had a storm raging inside them. I was sure I had never seen her before, so I was at a loss as to what I had done to make her just so angry. "How can I help you, beautiful?" I stumbled my way towards her. The closer I got, the more I wondered how she could even be real. Maybe I was more drunk than I thought. "Want to make a little bet?" The anger in her eyes subsided and was replaced by a spark of playfulness. "Mel, don't pick on a drunk guy," the guy behind her said. I hadn't even noticed him until now. He was taller than me and pretty damn jacked. Long maroon hair and light brown eyes. "I'm not drunk. Only had a few drinks." I shot a glare towards the man, but couldn't keep my eyes away from the woman. Had he called her Mel? I wonder what that was short for. "See, Oliver, the guy says he's fine. So how about it? Want to play a little game?" "Do you like gambling?" Mel asked. "Depends on the game. I'll warn you I never lose." I chuckled at the determined expression that flashed across her face. "We shall see," was all she said before leading me to a sidewalk bench. Mel. I just couldn't back down. I met the man's endless dark eyes, and suddenly I felt something besides determination. He was something else entirely when I got a good look at him. Attractive, confident, and was a little too smug. What was with that look in his eyes? With a small, forced smile on my lips, I reached in my back pocket, retrieving my deck of cards. I began to shuffle them, from one hand to another. Then I picked 4 random cards, showing them all to him. One of the cards was the Queen of Hearts. "The game is simple. You must find the Queen of Hearts out of these cards. You pick the right card and you win," I told him with a shrug of my shoulders, shuffling the deck once more. He wasn't paying attention to my hands. I slipped the Queen of Hearts down my shirt sleeve and replaced it with another random card. I kept my eyes locked on his, but honestly I tried not to focus too much on them. His gaze was unsettling. "Sounds simple enough, right?" I added with an awkward chuckle. Colt. I had to fight back a laugh. I understood now. She was a con artist, and when she saw me coming out of the bar, she thought I would be an easy target. And to think, a novice trying to con a master. "So I just have to find the Queen of Hearts?" I played along. "Yes," she smiled confidently as she laid each card down on the bench. "All right, then." I let my hand hover over each one just to watch her gleeful expression. Mel was convinced she had me right where she wanted me. Out of nowhere, I reached for her wrist and gently wrapped my fingers around, slipping under her sleeve until I could feel the smooth edge of the card. I pulled the Queen of Hearts from her shirt sleeve and released her wrist. "This is the oldest trick in the book, and you tried to use it against a fellow swindler. I like you. You have spunk. My name is Colt. I think we have a great future ahead of us." I winked at her, and she stared back in bewilderment. There was something about her, something that made me want more. Mel. My heart stopped for a split second as he pulled the card from its hiding spot. How? How did he know that? Was he really a fellow swindler like he claimed, or was I too slow this time? One thing was for sure, the man had me from the moment I pulled the cards. A fellow swindler, huh? Part of me was excited and maybe even impressed. I pushed those feelings down and let my anger take hold. I wouldn't give this man the satisfaction of intriguing me. Then Oliver snickered from beside me. Fucking traitor. "See, Mel, I told you. This is exactly what you get for not using your head," Oliver said. My blood boiled as my best friend spoke. Without even thinking, I elbowed him in the stomach. "Oof," he groaned, holding his stomach. "Geez, Mel, not so hard. I knew it couldn't hurt that much. Oliver was jacked. I only hit muscle. If anything, I just caught him off guard." My eyes flickered back to the creep, Colt. He was good, and I had to admit it, but he'd never hear me say it. "So, I won the game since I found the Queen, right?" he asked, holding up the Queen in between 2 fingers as he raised an eyebrow at me, that stupid smirk on his lips. He knew he had me. "Come again?" I asked, crossing my arms over my chest. "You said I win if I find the Queen of Hearts. So what do I win?" he asked. What the hell? What did he think he was playing at? I snatched the card away from him and turned. "How about you win me not punching you in the face? That sound good?" I mumbled before walking off. "Mel," Oliver called after me, "that was a bit hostile, don't you think?" Colt. "Whoa, whoa, where are you going?" I followed the two, unaffected by Mel's false threats. I needed to know more about her. "Go away," she yelled, speed walking away with both Oliver and myself trying to catch up. I wondered if Oliver was her boyfriend. If he was, well, let's just say he wouldn't be for long. "Not gonna happen," I replied, passing Oliver to catch up to her. I continued to follow her angry rampage for about 2 blocks before she stopped abruptly, turned on her heel, and yelled, "What the hell do you want?" right into my face. I was close enough to her that I could smell her perfume, a scent that smelled like the beach on a beautiful sunny day. "What is Mel Shore for?" I simply asked, throwing her off guard. She gave me a funny look and took a step back. "Melissa," she answered hesitantly between gritted teeth. "Well, Melissa, looks like you're stuck with me for a while. I'm going to make you fall in love with me." All of my previous tipsiness had worn off. I was completely serious. She wasn't like any of the bimbos in the bar. She was a beautiful, hostile firecracker.